Isn't that strange? So anyway, so King of Cups, the Empress, and Page of Swords. He's really. This reminds me a lot of the Truman Show. I don't want to give away the movie, but he has found his Laura. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Time. My name is Hailey, so grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I'm really excited to be doing this. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and you comment. I would love to hear your opinion. Please be respectful. I have been dying to do this kind of reading. It's a little cold in Florida. Actually, I just have my blanket with me, so if you can see it, very very cold. This past 3 days being extremely cold. But anyways, um, I've been dying to do this reading because you know, say what you want about Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with. This is what I was telling actually a friend of mine that I considered moving back to Europe because I just feel like politics. I love living in the USA. I love it. But the two reasons I would ever move back to Europe are politics in America suck. And number two, I would just like to be close to my sister because she lives in Europe. But the whole thing about politics, it's really upsetting, and what makes it so upsetting is that people can't have an opinion, and that's just, there's no like nuance. It's just black and white, which I really don't agree with. So that's why I don't um talk about politics on my channel, just because people get really, in America, people get really heated. I can have in England, I have my friends that have completely different political views to me, and we're still friends. We can listen to each other, and we don't call each other names. We don't get angry, and we handle it like adults. But I don't really find that a lot of the time in America, and it's very unfortunate that people are so brainwashed to hate each other before hearing one another out. So, with that being said, I used to watch Charlie Kirk, some of his stuff. I wasn't really big on a lot of what he said, most of what he said. But same thing with Candace Owens. I went to school briefly for journalism. I used to work in media. So I like, and I was in the debate team in high school. I like a good debate, and that means you have to listen to people with opposing views. So I always make sure that I listen to people that have different views to me. Me and Candace, she's very Christian. I am not Christian at all. She doesn't believe in homosexual marriage. I completely do. She has very different views, even about how she views race and all that kind of stuff. It's very different to how I view it, but you know what? I can take it and say, you have a strongly formed opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect your debate. I respect how you came up with that. I do think that she has her flaws, but everyone does. We all do. And I'm not going to sit here and say she's a hateful person, all that kind of stuff. I believe in listening to opposing views because I think it makes you stronger as a person. So that's just what I want to say. Same thing with Charlie Cook. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I listened to him because he had opposing views to me, and I think that's very important. I just love a good debate, and I know not a lot of people are like that. That's something I do miss about being in England, Europe, and South Africa. That people, less South Africa actually. I feel like I had a lot of issues when I lived in South Africa when it came to debate. But in England and Europe specifically, people are very open to debate, and I really miss that about that because um, having opposing views does not make one person better or less than the other. It's not a trophy. Your life is not a trophy. It's just how you choose to live your life is different to how somebody else does. So I just want to say that. So I do watch Candace Owens quite frequently, less frequently now, recently, with her going on about Charlie Kirk. I do understand that she lost her friend. In fact, I was at work and I came to take a nap, and then I was about to record, and my friend texted me that I was sleeping. Actually, she texted me that Charlie Kirk um, got shot in the neck, and I was just, it was like a dream because I was asleep. I woke up and I looked, It's like, did I just dream that? And then I looked at my text with my friend. I'm like, I didn't dream it. It actually did happen, which is so crazy to me. So after that, I feel like it was so unnecessary to have a kind of public display of what happened to him. And it just got my brain thinking, I am a son of Aquarius. We love to like think differently to other people. But it really got my brain thinking. And especially, I'm not one to tell somebody how they should be grieving, because when I lost my sister, and it's not even a husband, it was a sibling, but I was a mess. A mess for at least a month. I would cry every day. I couldn't eat. I couldn't properly sleep. I'd wake up with nightmares. It was really, really bad. So grief is very serious. And also, I just think that we'll have our grieving process. We all have our different grieving processes. But something intuitively has not sat right with me about how everyone, including Candace Owens, how they've been handling this assassination of Charlie Kirk. Just hasn't sat right with me. I don't know why. So I was talking to my sister on the phone, and I was like, I just have this inkling that Charlie Kirk is still alive. And it might sound crazy, but it happens quite often, more often than you think. It's funny because my sister who passed used to love the movie Face Off with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. And I know it sounds crazy, it's like a movie, it seems very far fetched, but a lot of movies are based on truth. They just don't tell us that, you know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy to be saying that. So I was something inside. So on the second day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I just felt like he's still alive. Just like Epstein, I think Epstein's still alive. And why I think this whole thing was orchestrated, my energy, my intuition is telling me energetically what is being told to me is that people were starting to ask a lot of questions about Epstein. And what better diversion than to have somebody killed? So I'm not saying this is completely accurate. This is just my intuition, which has been right a lot, might not be right here. So it is intuitive based, not fact based. But I wanted to read the energies. People have been questioning how Erica Kirk has been behaving. I was starting to question it actually when there was something I saw and I was like, I don't really, just first thing that I saw that she did, and I was kind of shocked, really. And then I was like, everybody agrees differently. I don't like to judge people on what they should and shouldn't be doing, but it just doesn't. Something is not sitting right in my soul about this whole thing, and I strongly believe he's still alive. I want to quickly mention that Jonathan Odie, who spoke out about Cassie in 2018, I believe it was, 17 or 18. People didn't believe him. I believed him. He said everything about Diddy. He said that he used to be hired by Diddy to be a male escort. And people didn't believe him. I believed him. The reason I believed him was because my intuition told me he was telling the truth, and I've seen certain things in Hollywood happen. And once you've seen certain things happen, you just can't unsee it. You just can't. So, he claimed, Jonathan Odie, the Diddy thing, which turned out to be true, but he also said that Tupac was alive and living in Cuba, which I believe to be true too. So, I know it sounds far fetched. I've always said I think Epstein is alive, and I think that he probably offered up some kind of information for his immunity to live a free life, which is kind of messed up. But sometimes you have to play this kind of politics to get certain things done, to trap people. And I'm not sure if one day we'll ever find out that Charlie Kirk is alive, but my intuition is strongly telling me that he is. So I want you to reading about the different people, big components, big names in this. I haven't done Ben Shapiro. Maybe I'll do a part two. If you guys like this, I'll do a part two. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to give my opinion about politics. This is about a bigger picture, and I just feel like I had to do it. I feel like I've been saying I really think Charlie Kirk is still alive. And then even how the shot came out, that they said the shot was from the side, from the front. Um, I just felt it. And then today I was watching Fumi. She's a great YouTuber. I love her so much. And she was like, "There's a theory that he's alive." And I said to myself, I told my sister that like a week after it happened. I said to her, "I think he's still alive." So I'm going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot for this, and let's get into it. So, um, when I pulled different energies. I pulled Charlie's energy, I pulled Erica's energy, I pulled Candace Owens' energy, and I pulled Cash Patel's energy. So, maybe I'll do a part two where I'll cover Turning Point, but I wanted to focus mainly on the people that are very vocal right now, particularly Candace Owens, because I feel like she thought that they were friends, her and Charlie. I think that's why she didn't know that. I don't think she knows he's still alive. And but I think she's not very trustworthy, and that's why they kept her out of the loop. So, with the High Priestess, this is Charlie's energy. The High Priestess. I see water. I get like water. Again, I really believe he's still alive, and this is the energy I get if he is still alive. I get water. Uh, I see palm trees, coconuts, and water. So it might be by Florida. Was he living in Florida? I mean, I live in Florida. But was he living in Florida? I get also Bahamas with a hat. He's got a hat on. Mm. Wow. So, the cards that just came out to me right now, people might say, okay, he would never do that. He would never leave his children. When you are that big of a player in politics, only very few people understand this and it seems very far fetched. But, there was one thing Candace said. I've been watching her sometimes on and off. If I'm home and I'm doing something, I watch her in the background when she talks about the stuff. But she said that she felt like he was living the Truman Show. And The Truman Show is one of my favorite movies by Jim Carrey. Well, it has Jim Carrey in it. It's by this other producer. And it's a phenomenal movie. I can't even explain to you how phenomenal The Truman Show is. It's exceptional. And The Truman Show, if you haven't seen it, is about this boy who is raised basically in reality TV. Especially for us reality TV people, we love this kind of stuff because it goes through people think that if you like reality TV, you're dumb. But what I love about reality TV is human reaction and noticing how people respond to what they are dealt with. And with the Truman Show, you see this boy who's, I don't want to give it away for those who haven't watched it. I'm just going to explain. There's a boy who becomes a man who is Jim Carrey, and he's raised basically on a film set. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get like certain things. He's basically being surrounded by actors, people who are placed in his life at a certain time to live this perfect life on TV. Basically, like Big Brother. He's like his own version of Big Brother, and he starts to see glitches in the system. He starts to see like, this is weird. Why am I on set? Like he starts to see that something's going on. I don't want to get too much into it because I do want you to watch it if you haven't watched it. If you have watched it, please let me know what you think about it in the comment section because I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And when she said it was like the Truman Show, I was like, yes. And I don't want to give away the movie, but when you are living a life like that, which a lot of people in power are, you are given an ultimatum. Either you play by the rules or you have an escape. And I think Charlie chose the escape. I think he was done living by the rules. I think he was done living by what society wanted him to. He was complaining a lot about the pressures he was going through. Started to discover things about his company, foundation rather. And something that also struck me, which is a red flag about Erica, was why would they need a GoFundMe if the man was worth millions? Isn't that strange? So anyway, so King of Cups, the Empress, and Page of Swords. He's really. This reminds me a lot of the Truman Show. I don't want to give away the movie, but he has found his Laura. I don't think that he and Erica had a real marriage. I think it was an arranged marriage. So when I pulled her energy, Nine of Swords, and I do feel for her, I think that it was arranged marriage, but they did have companionship towards one another. It's more like a friendship. I wonder when her birthday is. I know he was a Libra, or is a Libra. She's going to get married very soon. The Sun, King of Pentacles, and 4-1. She's going to get married very soon to somebody else. And it might be JD Vance. Wow. I just saw that. Very heavy energy. A mess. So I think that they were companions. I think that they always knew that it was arranged. I think that they knew that because a lot of people, including myself, have been like, "What's this behavior?" You know, especially in the leather pants. When she was in the leather pants, I'm all about wear what you want to wear. You know, I do kind of. I come from a traditional conservative. I'm not very conservative, but like you know, South African culture, British culture is very uh, traditional, you know. So I don't believe in wearing leather pants at certain events. I'm big on wearing leather pants. But when she wore leather pants at that event, I thought it was kind of like a little. But you know, I don't want to judge her. Certain things have sent off red flag signals for me, not about her, but about the situation. And I do think she is aware, but she's more, her Nine of Swords is more that people aren't falling for it. I think she was given the cue of act, and that's why she keeps going up. It's almost like she has to prove something to someone because people are watching her, and it's not us, it's somebody else that's watching her who's saying, okay, good performance, do better next time. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. So with as I pulled Candace's energy, Candace Owens, who's been very vocal, I really believe, like I said, I believe he's alive. And I don't think he told Candace because I think when they worked together before, she saw that he was untrustworthy, that she was untrustworthy, excuse me, and he saw that he couldn't really trust her. I don't think Candace strikes me as the kind of person she's very out for herself, and she doesn't really keep things too close to her chest, especially if it has to do with other people that are in competition with her. You know, so I think especially Libras are very good. He is a Libra. She's a Sun and Taurus. Libras are good at just acknowledging, okay, this person is like this, but I'm not going to I'm not going to hate on them. I'm not going to banish them, but I just know I can't trust them, you know? So I think he just found out he couldn't trust her, especially with how she has been with other people. So when I shuffled the cards, I got Hierophant. And Candace is not going to stop until she gets the truth. So I feel like they're going to like throw her. You see how there are these keys over here? They're not going to tell her that he's alive, but they're going to kind of throw her a bone, you know, of like, okay, go fetch, because that's how they see her. They see her like a dog that's like, "Arr." You know, when a dog has a bone, they never let it go. So they're gonna just throw her a bone and be like, okay, this is your bone now. Um, see, like, what is the bone they're going to throw her? Okay. They're going to offer her money to keep quiet. Oh my gosh. They're gonna offer her money, nine of pence, girls, nine of cups. That's why I say don't trust any of these people. Like, you can listen to them, but and I got into a huge argument with a former friend about this because, like I said, I've always watched Candace Owens. I don't agree with everything she does. In my opinion, my intuition tells me she's very grifter vibes, where, especially also with the Justin Baldoni thing, I can see through it because I've worked in media, so I can see that somebody might have good intentions, but then money gets involved and they change. Advertisers come into it. All of a sudden, they're big on a story that they didn't really care about. I've worked for, I don't want to say who it is, but it's somebody, a well known name, that a story would land on their desk and they would be monetized to follow through with the story, even though they wouldn't have done it if money was not involved in it. So, journalism, podcasting, all that stuff, money is the root of the stories that they cover. Even if they tell you it's not, it is. It just is. And that's one of the reasons I left that industry, because it's just, they act like it's pure. It's really not that pure. So they're going to send her money, and all of a sudden she's going to stop covering it. Just like with Justin Baldoni, she hasn't been covering it, right? Why? So with the Cash Patel's energy, because he's the FBI director, and people have really been giving him hell. Oh my gosh, because he hasn't kept his promises. I don't want to get too much into it, but I did get Eight of Wands. Behind that, Six of Swords. So he is helping Charlie plan this. Six of Swords is about getting away. Eight of Wands, Eight of Wands, Six of Swords is about getting away. He might have even been the person that went to him and said, okay, so listen, you have two choices. The Moon, Justice, and Knight of Pentacles. So I possibly see him going in front of Congress and them asking, okay, so did you find Charlie's killer? They're like, oh yeah, it's that Tyler guy. And maybe I should do something on Tyler Robinson too. Let me know in the comment section. I don't want to go too much over time with this video. But my intuition strongly tells me Charlie Kirk is alive. And every time people get close to the truth, they're going to throw them a bone, especially Candace. Then it's going to get to the point that they're going to offer her money for her silence. And she's going to take it. She's going to take it. So this is intuitive based, it's not fact based. I do say that. Usually accurate doesn't mean I'm accurate here. I just had to do this video. Something is just telling me that something's not clean in the milk. So yeah, that's what I have to say to you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching.